for being here. I feel so loved and so blessed and grateful, and I'm really excited to talk to Kulap about the book that I've been working on for 6 years now.
6 years.
It's been a long time.
Okay, so you're excited, but what are the other feelings inside your body at this time?
I have some fear, and I have some anxiety, but mostly excitement. So.
Well, it's a big deal. It's a super big deal. I mean, take it all in. You know, breathe. Ooh.
Oh. do what you need.
Take a deep breath. Short circuit the microphone.
Yeah.
Get loose. Saying the book. Let's say what the book is again. It's The Lao Kitchen. Here it is. It's so beautiful. This is, I would say, the first of its kind. Mm-hmm. But what other similar books came before it?
Yeah, no. So there are so many Lao books, or I would say a handful, right? Because one of the bigger Lao cookbooks that came out was Pia Sing, traditional recipes of Laos. But that wasn't even printed by him because he had passed away post Vietnam and Secret War. And so we have that one as like this crucial piece for the Lao community. And then fast forwarding, there's a Hawker Fair that came out in 2018, and that was Thai/Lao Isan. And then we also have Chef Noi, who passed away last year with her book. And that one's also incredible, only available in certain cities. But so as you can see, there's so limited in access into Lao stories and recipes, so that's why I created the Lao Kitchen to show more representation.
Yes, and can you tell us, give us like what the book is in a nutshell?
So the book is essentially my diary, so you're reading it. But also it is very much of the Lao diaspora experience of this community that comes from Laos that hasn't been told through stories yet because of a lot of acculturation, assimilation, and wanting to come to America and just feel like they can survive, right? And so at the time, back in 75 and forward, a lot of the times they were opening Thai restaurants. And so a lot of what you'll see in the Midwest are Lao-owned Thai restaurants. And so I think that's a big shift that I talk about in the book, about the history of where we are going, where we want to go as Lao people. And so now we are very much saying, this is Lao food, this is centering the people and the group. And I think with centering the people, it also shows how much you are loving yourself.
There is, in your essay, I think also what's different is of course there's lots of, there's some recipes, but also, like you said, it's your diary and you're sharing a lot about yourself and your family. And in your essay, Foraging for Flavors, on page 174, if you're following along in the good book, you share a story about your birth and one of my favorite Lao dishes, gang no mai. Do you mind if I read a little bit
Please.
from it? Okay. To my and mentor, Kulap Vilaysack, thank you for the endless laughter, guidance, and tear-filled You know what, so sorry, that's the wrong page.
Turn the page.
I'm so sorry. I'm perimenopausal. Okay, sorry. Okay. Ma's story about my birth perfectly illustrates how the ethos of foraging can extend beyond food too. In this case, medicine. I was born in Nakhon Phanom at the Nong Sang refugee camp, where Ma drew support from the camp's community as she gave birth to me. Ma and my older sister Dang, shout out to Dang who's here,
My sister.
had already spent several years in the camp. Giving birth outside of a hospital was already a significant challenge, and my birth had complications. Matt told me that the community's resourcefulness and their knowledge of natural remedies, in this case medicinal leaves, helped ensure my safe arrival. Medicinal leaves were often used at the camp as cooking ingredients in dishes like gang no mai, a bamboo stew. This dish used ingredients that could be easily foraged in and around the camp, making it accessible to everyone. The stew was often part of the shared meals within the community that not only provided physical nourishment, but also a sense of hope and a reminder of home. When the word of my birth reached Paul, who was in the Napo camp at the time, he took an incredible risk. Determined to see his newborn son, Paul sneaked into a portable toilet truck on its way to Mass camp. He was able to spend just one day with his family, his wife, small daughter, and tiny son. It was this kind of devotion and love that kept our family connection strong despite the hardships of separation. Eventually, we were reunited as a family of Napo camp, where we learned that we would have the opportunity to resettle in America as refugees. I would ask you how long it took. You said 6 years to get to this book, but I know the answer. It started on day one for you. You describe food as something that carries memory, love, and even healing. So what do you hope readers will feel and not just cook when they engage with the book?
So you just reading that, it made it even more real. Like, wow. I'm sorry. But I think...
Did you want to cry?
No. So, something might come about, but no. So I think you reading that and hearing that, I think my intention of this book has always been to center community and to bring healing and space for us, because in this world has been so hard for communities that are underrepresented in finding their place and space in this world. And so in writing that and sharing my story, I knew that my story wasn't special. It was something that is very much relatable into the refugee community in those spaces. And I think it calls upon like our parents, our grandparents that took this journey, this incredible journey of the risk of coming to America or to France, Australia, and finding a space that their children or their relatives can finally feel at peace and share these experiences, and especially through a book. So when my parents told me all of that, like as a kid I would get pieces and not be able to connect because I couldn't understand, but in writing this book actually it helped heal me and help understanding where I came from and what my parents had to go through. And so this book is essentially something for the diaspora and the people that want to understand their neighbors to be more gentle and kind to one another.
Oh, that's wonderful. Saeng, I want you to read an excerpt from your book. It's titled "The Funky Kid." Here you go.
Okay.
I think read from here to here. Do you think that's...
So the whole thing?
No, there's another page. No, I'm not filling time.
Okay, so here...
That's a book reading. You wrote it.
Okay, here, I will read it.
That's what people do with these things.
This is the live audio version. This chapter is called "The Funky Kid." Dearest funky kid, I hope this letter finds you when you need it most. It is meant for you as a gesture of understanding and a reminder that your struggles, though they may feel different from those of the kids around you, are seen. This letter comes from a community that loves you fiercely and knows your potential to uplift our food and culture. It is written on behalf of all the Maz in the Lao diaspora who will always feed you sticky rice no matter where you go. Once, funky food was not seen as a badge of honor, but today, second and third generation Lao food lovers have reclaimed it, embracing their heritage and challenging the idea that their culture's foods are somehow un-American. This bold stance comes from our determination to share Lao food exactly as it is enjoyed at home without apology or compromise. The story of Lao food in America began with refugees who bravely navigated an unfamiliar world, often hiding parts of themselves to fit in. Parents sacrificed their identities to protect their children and to help them succeed in a foreign land. Yet a beautiful shift came when these children became adults and chose to show their parents that times had changed. They were finally ready to celebrate the food that once felt too foreign, embracing it and sharing it. The badak hidden under the sink could now sit proudly on the table. Recipes tucked away in Maz memory were preserved online and in books like this, honoring the legacy of Lao cuisine. Today, Lao cuisine, traditions, and celebrations, especially those around Lao New Year in April, shine brightly across America and beyond. For a community that arrived in our new lands with little more than dreams, this is nothing short of extraordinary. The challenges faced by the Lao communities in the diaspora have only strengthened our resilience, matching the bold flavors in our food. Though these struggles fostered unity and pride, strengthening the Lao American dream, from small villages in Laos to crowded apartments in U.S. towns and cities. The journeys of the Lao diaspora are testaments to perseverance. Now the children of refugees are opening Lao restaurants, food trucks, and fusion eateries, blending tradition with innovation while keeping sticky rice at the heart of it all. This evolution extends far beyond the United States. It's true of Lao communities in Germany, Australia, Canada, Japan, and the United Kingdom, France, Argentina, and beyond. The story is a global puzzle, its pieces scattered but increasingly accessible thanks to the internet. Before social media, phone calls were the only way to connect. Now recipes, photos, and videos shared online allow people to rediscover our roots and reconnect with one another. What was once passed down through stories is now preserved in digital spaces where cooks proudly showcase their badak. Social media has become a place where Lao cuisine thrives, celebrated by creators and cooks, and preserved for future generations.
Thank you, Saeng.
Thank you, I can read.
He's so funky, Saeng. Saeng, for those who are unaware and for those who are well aware and will delight in hearing about it at a bar, what is badak?
So if you're not familiar, badak is essentially the salt of Laos. But with that, it is unfiltered fish sauce that has been fermenting for at least 1 year. So you'll get this really dark, murky, kind of almost sometimes scary looking bucket, right? But it is one of the most beautiful things if you know how to use it, because it just perfumes every stew and Lao dishes across the book here. And so my mom's mez badak recipe is in there, and for me, that is why I use funky in more of an empowerment term.
Yeah, so that's page 97 if you're following, and if you're nasty.
Yeah.
So our moms, they don't write down recipes. And can you share what it was like trying to get recipes out of her?
So when I was, even before the book, I would go home to Wisconsin and I was always in the kitchen watching my mom and learning from her just visually her different techniques. And so when the book started coming, now I actually had to put pen to paper. And so I'm sure maybe with your moms or dads who is cooking at home, they don't, write recipes with measurements. You cook from the heart. So essentially, it was asking mom to slow down a bit and explain things, and I think that also is a beautiful newer type of relationship with my parents, having to intentionally make time in the kitchen without them asking. So I think that is a big lesson from the book.
Well, it's tricky too because it's you're not talking about teaspoons or tablespoons, and right? They're just this much, and then if you don't know, taste it. Yeah. Taste it and you'll know, right?
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know what it is. You just think, it's just a thing, you just add, and then you have to research what that thing was if you took a photo or video of it. So that's how it was with her.
I really want to thank you for this work. I have a complicated relationship with each of my parents, and there's a dish in here that my dad would make when I was growing up, and I can't wait to recreate it. It's on page 193. Lao style ragu. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people who are second generation, third generation, or sometimes circumstance or language or just the very nature of how families are set up will have an opportunity to make recipes that they couldn't have before. Can you talk about that? Can you talk about your thinking?
Yeah, no, I think this book also came from a place. So I have the privilege of traveling to all these different places, states, visiting families, Lao eateries, and hearing their stories and the kids that come from it. And as kids from refugee families, we have such complicated relationships with our parents. And so we don't have that privilege of maybe the time also to be able to get these recipes that are so valuable, because that is essentially all that they brought across the ocean. And so this book is for the next generation that's coming up to help them understand who their mom is, who their grandma and grandpa is. And I think I look at my nieces and nephews so much, and I see pieces of myself that I hope that they have these resources now, that when they have these questions that maybe their grandpa can't explain as well, they can grab that book and have a bit more understanding of where their parents came from, and so it gives them that peace of mind, that confidence and peace of mind of who they are and how they can explain themselves.
How many recipes are in this book?
So